So what happens to openly homosexual men in prison? Now, I'm not talking like somebody that's all in and doing all types of weird booty bandit shit. I'm talking about a regular guy that's a homosexual, open, been living his whole life, got a DUI manslaughter and goes to prison. Or got caught up in drugs and got arrested for possession, whatever it may be. Not a real criminal, just a regular guy that got caught up in some dumb shit. Now, a lot of people think, oh, he'll be happy. He'll be in his element, right? It's actually something you couldn't even imagine. So you have different types of people in prison. You have homosexuals that pretend to be the biggest gangsters. They're in some of the most notorious gangs and killing and stabbing, but really they have gay rage. They don't want to admit who they are. So you know what we call them? We call them homo thugs. Sometimes some of the most gangster gang leaders there is end up killing another inmate over their boyfriend. But they'll never say that's the reason. They'll say it was about money or protection, but they just have so much hate and rage because they have to keep a secret inside of them and live a way that they really aren't. And they end up becoming booty bandits, rapists in prison. And, I don't respect anybody that can't be themselves and live how they want to be, no matter where they're at. That just shows you that they're weak cowards as it is. Now, a regular dude, I've met many that are just openly homosexual, living their life, and they get caught up on some dumb shit. They don't have bad charges. This is the problem. If they've never grown up in a violent environment and they don't know how to fight and they're very intimidated by what's going on in the prison, it's almost like certain inmates expect them to give it up, expect them to have sex with them, expect them to accept rape. And just like other races have formed gangs to protect themselves that ultimately became giant organizations, they didn't start because they wanted to get into the drug trade, the murder trade, whatever it may be. They started because they were getting tortured, bullied, extorted, raped, whatever it may be. And then the elite of the elite who they chose to be in this organization ended up taking it to the next level because they had those type of men. Now, the homosexuals in prison that don't want to go in there and date men, don't want to be in relationships, they get abused. They get raped. They get basically tried on every corner because regular inmates of their race will never accept them because it's against the prison politics. So the people that do accept them will be someone just like them that's just a regular chill dude that's a homosexual, or a booty bandit, a rapist, a guy that basically pimps them out. They're expected to do these things. And that's where you get a different type of person because they started what's called the gay boy gang. I know that sounds crazy, but they're for real. They got tired of being used and abused and no one caring. The COs would look at it like, oh shit, they're just gay anyway. So that's what they wanted. And they became brutal, violent killers. And a lot of them can fight real good because they've been in the system their whole life. So they take a guy that might have a DUI manslaughter from the suburbs under their wing, and they say, look, we're not going to take advantage of you. We're not going to say we're going to protect you because, you're gay and we want this from you. No, we know how it is. And that's where I saw for the first time in my life a dude try the fuck. And the inmate's name was Lele. Lele was this black dude, and he had been locked up probably 10, 15 years. And he's been fighting this whole bit because people have been trying to take advantage of him. Stabbings and fightings. And an inmate and him had some words, and the dude said a very, very mean remark to Lele. Insulting him, saying all types of derogatory homosexual remarks to him. Lele said, all right, when we get back in the dorm, you're going to tighten me up. That's Florida for we're going to fight one-on-one. Dude's laughing like, bro, come on now. I'll never forget it. He goes back to his little cell, whatever, gets his pink gloves out, custom-made gloves, puts his shoes on, and they go to fighting, and he beats the shit out this inmate, knocks him out cold, breaks his tooth. And I don't know if you guys saw the Izzy versus Costa fight, but after he was knocked out by Lele, the dude starts twerking over him. That's when I said, holy shit, bro, you don't know who you're fucking with in prison. That dude, I never saw him again. He checked in, check please, and nobody ever saw him again. They got tired of being used and abused. Now, don't get it twisted though. There are many that get caught up in drugs, many that, don't have this protection in every prison. They're there, but not in every prison. And if you're a homosexual and you enter prison, a lot of dudes will expect you to give them whatever they want just because. And the COs will not care because they look at you as a homosexual and that's what you wanted anyway. So if anybody has to go through that or been through that, it's very fucked up. I stayed to myself. I don't give a fuck what you are, what you're not. As long as you don't hurt kids, you're not a rapist, hurt women and children like that, I do my own time. As long as you don't steal from me and any of that, I do my own time. Because you don't want to end up like Lele's victim, where you got pink gloved and he hit him with that wrecking ball. But for the most part, it's really sad because a lot of dudes go in there thinking that just because you're gay, you're going to have sex with them. And if you don't, they're going to violently assault you. And if they don't have the protection from certain gangs, I know it sounds weird, but like the GBGs, the gay boy gangs or whatever else there is, then they're going to be very, very disrespected, tried, raped, beaten. And the fucked up part about it is they can't just go to regular inmates for protection because one, a lot of inmates that are part of organizations or offer protection can't do it because, you are who your friends are in prison. And a lot of times also, when you go to certain dudes for protection, most of those dudes that offer protection are booty bandits. And what they're going to want in return is you. So it's very twisted and just fucked up for just a normal, openly homosexual dude that's just trying to do his time and not be caught up in all of that madness. The real advice is this: find a like-minded person that's not nasty, evil person, rapist. Get a weapon, and no matter what happens, never, ever let somebody turn you into a victim. Because the COs don't give a fuck because they think you deserve it anyway. Or the COs are part of the problem, raping inmates also. Yeah, for real. And people you've grown up with, they'll turn their back on you because they cannot be around that. When I was in prison, I knew a dude my entire life. We grew up together. We ain't seen each other in some years. We end up at the same prison. And my friend was telling me, yeah, dog, he's fucking wild, stabbing people. I was like, yeah, I grew up with him. He's like, there's only one problem though, man. He's got a boyfriend, this and that. And I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. This dude was like the furthest thing from it. But then I realized it was that gay rage. He's been keeping it inside his whole life. And he said, what's up to me? And I said, bro, I've known you forever, but obviously, this is where our friendship ends. And it wasn't because he was gay. It was because I could not be around the lifestyle he was in. Because he wasn't just openly gay, living his life. He was all in with drugs. He was all in with, pimping out dudes and just all in with that shit. And I did not respect that one bit. And on the flip side, some of the most coolest, respectful people I ever met in prison were openly homosexual. They never tried me. They mind their business. It's just sad that some of the weaker ones are expected to give it up. And then you see them and it's one of two things. They become like Lele, the most violent, savage inmate because they refuse to be a victim. Or the other ones are just getting used and abused and they can never break that cycle. It's sad to see, for real. Stay out, stay free, us.